The kitchen clock ticked louder than it should have, each second a hammer against my skull. I stood frozen, my hand gripping the edge of the counter, the cold granite biting into my palm. My wife's words hung in the air like smoke, acrid and impossible to ignore. "I haven't had any desire for you for months now," she'd said, her voice flat, stripped of warmth. "I'm with you because I'm broke." The confession landed like a blade, clean and deep, slicing through 12 years of marriage in a single breath. Her eyes, once soft with love, were now hard, glinting like the edge of a knife under the dim kitchen light. I wanted to scream, to demand answers, but my throat was a desert. The room felt too small, the air too thick. The faint hum of the refrigerator buzzed in the background, a mocking reminder of normalcy. I stared at Lena, her arms crossed, her posture rigid, as if she'd rehearsed this moment. Her dark hair fell in loose waves over her shoulders, the same way it had when we'd met, but now it framed a stranger's face. How had I missed this? How had I not seen the fracture growing between us? "Lena," I managed, my voice cracking like dry wood. What are you saying?" I knew what she was saying. I just needed her to repeat it, to make it real, to force the truth to sink into my bones. She didn't flinch. "I'm saying I don't love you anymore, Mark. I haven't for a while. I'm here because I can't afford to leave." Her words were deliberate, each one a calculated blow. She leaned against the counter, her fingers tapping lightly, as if this were a casual conversation about groceries or bills. But her eyes betrayed her, a flicker of guilt quickly smothered. I replayed the past few months in my mind, searching for the signs I'd ignored. The late nights she'd spent working at the office, her phone always angled just out of sight, the way her laughter had dwindled to silence. I chalked it up to stress. Her job as a paralegal was demanding, and we'd been scraping by since my layoff 6 months ago. I'd rationalized her distance, told myself it was temporary, that we'd find our way back. But now her confession peeled back the lies I'd fed myself, exposing the raw truth underneath. "Since when?" I asked, my voice low, trembling with a mix of dread and anger. "When did you stop feeling anything?" She looked away, her gaze settling on the chipped mug on the counter. My mug, the one she'd bought me for our 5th anniversary, with "World's Okayest Husband" scrawled in faded letters. "Does it matter?" she said, her tone clipped. "It's been months. Maybe longer." Longer. My chest tightened, a fist squeezing my lungs. "How long, Lena? Tell me." She sighed, a sound heavy with exasperation, as if I were the one being unreasonable. "I don't know, Mark. It's not like I marked it on a calendar. Just faded. And then you lost your job and I couldn't." She stopped, her lips pressing into a thin line. "Couldn't what?" I stepped closer, my voice rising despite myself. The kitchen felt like a pressure cooker, the walls closing in. "Couldn't leave? Couldn't tell me the truth?" "What, Lena?" Her eyes snapped back to mine, sharp and defiant. "I couldn't afford to start over. Not with the debt, not with the rent, not with everything." Her voice softened, but not with tenderness, more like pity. "You think I wanted to stay in this house pretending everything's fine? I stayed because I had no choice." The words twisted in my gut, a slow poison. I thought of the nights I'd spent lying awake, wondering why she flinched when I touched her, why her smiles never reached her eyes. I'd blamed myself, convinced I wasn't enough, not successful enough, not attentive enough. But now her betrayal wasn't just emotional. It was calculated, a transaction. She'd stayed for the roof over her head, not for me. Was there someone else? The question slipped out before I could stop it, raw and jagged. I didn't want to know, but I needed to. The suspicion had been there, a shadow in the corner of my mind, but I'd pushed it away, too afraid to face it. Lena's face didn't change, but her fingers stopped tapping. The silence stretched, thick and suffocating, broken only by the relentless ticking of the clock. "Don't do this, Mark," she said finally, her voice barely above a whisper. "Don't do what?" I snapped, my hands shaking. "Ask you to be honest for once? Tell me, Lena, is there someone else?" She turned away, her shoulders stiff, and walked to the sink, gripping the edge as if to steady herself. The faucet dripped, a slow, rhythmic plink that echoed the pulse pounding in my ears. "You don't want to know," she said, her back to me. "It won't change anything." My heart lurched. It was as good as a confession. The room spun, the edges blurring as my mind raced. I saw flashes of her phone lighting up at odd hours, the way she'd started wearing perfume again after years of going without, the vague excuses about client dinners. Each memory was a thread, weaving a tapestry of betrayal I could no longer ignore. Who is he? I demanded, my voice raw with pain. I crossed the kitchen in 2 strides, stopping just behind her. The scent of her lavender shampoo hit me, a cruel reminder of intimacy long gone. Tell me who he is. She spun around, her eyes blazing with something I couldn't name. Anger, fear, maybe both. It's not about him, Mark. It's about us. About how we've been dead for years, and you didn't even notice. Her voice cracked, the first sign of emotion she'd shown. You think I wanted this? To feel trapped? To hate myself every day for staying? Then why didn't you leave? I shouted, my voice echoing off the tiled walls. If it was so bad, why didn't you just go? Because I'm not like you, she shot back, her face flushed. I don't get to just fall apart. Someone had to keep things together. Someone had to pay the bills, keep the lights on. And you? She stopped, her breath hitching. You were too busy wallowing to see how far we'd fallen. Her words stung, each one a lash against my pride. I wanted to argue, to defend myself, but part of me knew she was right. After the layoff I'd spiraled, drinking too much, retreating into silence. I thought she was strong enough for both of us. I hadn't realized she was drowning too. But that didn't excuse her. Not this. Not him. She spun around, her eyes blazing with something I couldn't name. Anger, fear, maybe both. It's not about him, Mark. It's about us. About how we've been dead for years, and you didn't even notice. Her voice cracked, the first sign of emotion she'd shown. You think I wanted this? To feel trapped? To hate myself every day for staying? Then why didn't you leave? I shouted, my voice echoing off the tiled walls. If it was so bad, why didn't you just go? Because I'm not like you, she shot back, her face flushed. I don't get to just fall apart. Someone had to keep things together. Someone had to pay the bills, keep the lights on. And you? She stopped, her breath hitching. You were too busy wallowing to see how far we'd fallen. Her words stung, each one a lash against my pride. I wanted to argue, to defend myself, but part of me knew she was right. After the layoff I'd spiraled, drinking too much, retreating into silence. I thought she was strong enough for both of us. I hadn't realized she was drowning too. But that didn't excuse her. Not this. Not him. Tell me his name. I said, my voice low, dangerous. I didn't recognize myself anymore. The man I'd been, an optimist, a husband who believed in forever, was gone. Replaced by someone raw, unraveling. Lena's eyes searched mine, and for a moment, I thought I saw the woman I'd married. The one who'd laughed with me over cheap wine and late-night talks. But then her expression hardened, and she shook her head. It's over, Mark. That's all you need to know. She pushed past me, her shoulder brushing mine, and grabbed her purse from the counter. The jingle of her keys was a gunshot in the quiet. I'm going to my sister's, she said, not looking back. I need space. The door slammed behind her, the sound reverberating through the empty house. I stood there, alone in the kitchen, the air heavy with the ghost of her words. My eyes fell on the mug again, its faded letters mocking me. I picked it up, my hand trembling, and hurled it against the wall. It shattered, pieces scattering across the floor like the fragments of our life. Hours later, I found her phone, forgotten, on the couch. The screen lit up with a notification. A text from a name I didn't recognize. Elliot. The message was simple. Miss you. Call me when you're free. My stomach churned, bile rising in my throat. I unlocked the phone. Her passcode was still our anniversary, and scrolled through their messages. Each one was a dagger. Late-night plans, inside jokes, promises of a future that didn't include me. But the last message stopped me cold. Sent just hours before our fight, it read. I told him tonight. It's done. We can finally be together. My knees buckled and I sank to the floor, the phone slipping from my hand. The truth wasn't just that she'd betrayed me. It was that she'd planned to leave, to erase me, to build a new life on the ruins of ours. I sat there until dawn, the house silent except for the drip of the faucet. The man I'd been was gone, shattered like the mug on the floor. But in the wreckage, a new resolve took root. I wouldn't let her walk away without a fight. Not for her love, but for the truth. I'd find Elliot. I'd confront him. And then maybe I'd find a way to rebuild the man I'd lost.